It just takes one good drill hole to multiply that share price. In 2008, we went from 5 or 6 cents to $1.05 or 6.
Joining us for a conversation is Gregory Beischer, the CEO of Millrock Resources. Mr. Beischer, welcome to the show, sir.
Thanks very much, Maurice. I'm glad to get your call and talk to you again.
Well, what a great time to have you join us to get us up to date on the latest exciting developments coming from the premier project generator, Millrock Resources. Before we begin, Mr. Beischer, please introduce us to Millrock Resources and the opportunity the company presents to shareholders.
Sure, Maurice. Well, I know you as a long-standing Millrock shareholder understand our business model. We are early-stage exploration geologists focused on developing projects in Alaska and northern Sonora state, Mexico. I live in Alaska. This is home base for me, and we as a company generate new exploration projects for metallic minerals. We have quite a few of them, but we always invite partners to participate, to earn into the projects, earn an interest. And the whole idea is that we can operate more than one exploration project at a time, increasing our odds of discovery success, and make a fully sustainable exploration company. It takes a long time to make a deposit discovery, and so this is a way for Millrock's core team to be sustainable, but still keep the possibility that our shareholders will realize major share price gains if we're successful in discovering a mineral deposit.
It's a very compelling value proposition, and I'm proud to be a shareholder. Mr. Beischer, let's go to Alaska and get everyone up to speed on the latest press release regarding your partner, Felix Gold, and their pending IPO, and let's find out how this may provide a significant impact for the better on your treasury in the form of cash equivalents in shares.
Sure. So, Maurice, I might just take a minute to describe the more typical agreement that Millrock does. They're what's called an earn-in agreement or an option agreement. And these are very typical for our industry. And it's been typical for Millrock as it's made agreements, especially with major mining companies. So we've got a project. The major company likes the look of it. And so they sign an agreement with us that allows them, through making exploration expenditures and through making cash payments to Millrock, the option to earn a majority interest. And it's an option, so they can back out at any time if the exploration doesn't seem to be providing the results that they anticipate. But if they exercise the option, then they become a majority owner of the project. Millrock is a minority owner at that part. And if there's been a discovery, well, that's great. Millrock may be then a 30 or 35% owner of an advanced stage project without having risked much at all of its capital. And we could then sell that 35% stake for a lot of money, or we could contribute and be a joint venture partner in building and operating a mine. The deal we've done in this case with Felix Gold, and I've done several other agreements like this recently, rather than let the incoming partner earn a majority interest, we've in fact sold them the mineral rights that we held 100%. But in return, we get two things. One is a big shareholding in their company. And the second thing we get is royalties with an advanced minimum royalty stream. And so in this case, with Felix Gold, we've received, will receive, assuming that the initial public offering goes through, that they raised 10 million Australian dollars as is planned, and everything else falls into place. In January, they'll start trading on the Australia Stock Securities Exchange. And Millrock will receive 10% of the shares of the company after that 10 million's been raised. Well, that'll be, as it turns out, quite valuable because the initial price of the shares on the opening day will be 25 cents. And so if we have 10 million shares, which is the plan, then that's 2.5 million Australian dollars worth of shares, and which is roughly equivalent to maybe 1.8 million US dollars. So when you think about it, Millrock might have invested $250,000 to acquire the mineral rights initially near Fairbanks. Well, we've already received some cash payments and some management fees for the work done over this past year. So at this point, Millrock doesn't really have anything at risk, yet we will own a substantial shareholding in an up-and-coming company that'll have $10 million to expend exploring on the claim blocks that we provided to them. And, you could imagine that if there's some exploration success in the coming year, those 25-cent shares might become worth quite a bit more. Maybe they'll be $2.50 per share. Well, suddenly Millrock shareholding would be worth in the order of 25 million Australian dollars, which would be, certainly to Millrock shareholders' benefit. And well, in a really optimistic case, if they go ahead and discover a mineable deposit, it could be that their shares might reach $10 or $20 a share, and so then we'd be looking at shareholding in Felix Gold that's worth $100 or $200 million, and so that would certainly benefit Millrock shareholders. But the thing I like most, too, is that we have royalties on any property that Felix Gold has acquired or will acquire within a large area of interest around Fairbanks. So if there is a mine, we'll get royalties from it, but there's also provisions for advance minimum royalty payments. They start low at just $50,000 a year, but they grow $50,000 every year. And we could have as many as 3 of those advanced minimum royalty streams out of just this one large project. So all of those things help reduce Millrock's overhead cost or counter against our overhead, again, making us a fully sustainable, pure early stage exploration company that still exposes our shareholders to great benefits if a discovery is made.
Well, that's a great demonstration of that astute business acumen. And before we leave the project site there, what are the latest developments there?
Right. Well, a lot depends on this initial public offering or IPO that'll roll out over the next 6 weeks. They'll have to successfully raise at least 7 million Australian dollars, but as much as 10 million. And then the stock, I'm sure there's quite a few hoops that they have to jump through, but then it'll become a company that's trading on the Australia Stock Exchange. And then, it's time for them to really go to work and start exploring. But our team, working collaboratively with their team over this past year since we signed the initial deal with the private company that now is about to become public, developed just some great targets on the Treasure Creek project in particular. And also just to the east-northeast of Kinross's Fort Knox gold mine and adjacent to Free Gold Ventures Golden Summit project, where there's been some terrific drill hole intersections produced by Free Gold that sort of seems to be flying under the radar. And I think once the investing world becomes familiar with the magnitude of what Freegold's discovered, then all eyes are going to be on the Fairbanks district. But Millrock with Felix now has amassed a very significant land position. Apart from Kinross, the company is the dominant land holder, and some great prospects in what we view as a very underexplored area, despite the fact that gold was discovered here way back in 1902 by a fellow by the name of Felix Pedro. And so the name Felix Gold is a nod to Mr. Pedro, the prospector who discovered gold in Fairbanks all those years ago. And, there's been a tremendous amount of gold, probably at least 8 million ounces of gold produced from superficial deposits by alluvial or placer miners. And maybe as much as that from hard rock, lode gold deposits. But we think there's just so much more to find in the Fairbanks area. It's a great gold camp, and but its potential is far from realized yet. But the Felix team is a very astute bunch of explorers. They and we are using some cutting-edge methods to analyze the entire Fairbanks district in a holistic sense and really pick and choose the spots to go. We've staked those out, and the initial survey results are really encouraging. So we look forward to Felix mounting aggressive drilling programs over 2021 and 2022, and hopefully making that big discovery.
Let's take a look at the rest of the property bank by Millrock, which offers a number of compelling projects that offer a lot of blue sky potential. Can you walk us through the property bank and get us up to speed on the activity and the catalyst that shareholders can keep their eyes on, beginning with the heavyweight, the 64 North project?
You bet, Maurice. I really feel like Millrock is firing on all cylinders right now. We've got partners funding exploration on just about all of the projects in our portfolio, except the two newest ones that we'll be rolling out soon. And it's going to result, I think, in drilling on at least 5, maybe as many as 7 Millrock claim blocks in 2021. So lots of opportunities for discovery to be made that'll make a really big difference to the bottom line of Millrock's share price. 64 North is doing great. In fact, it's the project that'll probably produce the next news. The Resolution did a late season trenching program on the Tourmaline Ridge prospect, one I've really liked, and is just to the west of the Pogo gold mine. Some interesting quartz veins exposed at surface, and now they've exposed them further. There was some visible gold in the quartz veins, I know, when they were initially discovered 10 or 12 years ago. And so we're looking forward to those results coming out around Christmas. It may be after the new year before they're announced, but fingers crossed for some good trench results there that would then lead to drilling in 2022. So the project's still very active, and it's in such a good neighborhood there with a big producing mine right next door. We'll be drilling for sure on the, almost for sure, I think, on the Apex project. Our partner, Coeur D'Alene Mines, who operates the Kensington mine in southeast Alaska, is earning into this project. And they've indicated a 1.5 million drill budget for next year. Drill 5 or 6 or 7 holes to test a quartz vein system that is actually a former mine, mined back in the 1920s. Very high grade quartz vein system. And so, some great results could come out of that next year as well. And doing well in Mexico now too. Another Australian company has picked up our Batamote copper porphyry prospect, and we'll be probably doing some initial geophysical surveys early in the new year, and at some point in 2022, I anticipate there'll be drilling there as well. Also on the El Picacho gold project, which we recently sold to Tocvan Ventures, and upon which Millrock will hold a royalty, again with advanced minimum royalty streams that we like to have. So yeah, everything's firing on all cylinders for Millrock, yet our share price is struggling. And it's a little tough to deal with that. Part of it is that we're in tax loss selling season now. Some investors have made great profits on other companies, and so there's selling pressure on Millrock shares since they're down from the highs of last year. And we have a large number of warrants, some of which you hold, some of which I hold, and other investors, and they're going to expire here in a couple of weeks. Those warrants tend to have an overhang on a share price, and so with those two things cleared out and such a great portfolio of projects that are going to be drill tested next year, I think there's all kinds of potential for Millrock's share price to move upwards from its current spot at around 7 Canadian cents per share.
Well, I think beauty's in the eye of the beholder, and I know you feel the opposite right now, but I love a bargain sale. So,
well, I'll be a buyer in this coming few weeks of tax loss selling of our own company, Maurice. It's certainly a bargain at 6 or 7 cents a share.
Great Christmas shopping right here, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's look at some numbers. Mr. Beischer, what is the current capital structure for Millrock Resources?
Right, we have right around 152 million shares outstanding. We have a lot of warrants, but they're all going to terminate here in a couple of weeks. We've got right around $1 million in cash, and income flowing in the early months of 2022 through option payments and management fees, that sort of thing. So the cash position's not too bad. As I say, we're becoming a fully sustainable company at this point.
Before we close, what would you like to say to shareholders?
Well, I would say thanks for long-standing shareholders for your patience while we execute our business model. I think we're doing that as best that we possibly can. And at this point, I draw the parallel back to 2008, where our share price was all the way down to similar levels as it is now. We're a much, much stronger company than we were back in 2008. And again, it just takes one good drill hole to multiply that share price. In 2008, we went from 5 or 6 cents to $1.05 or 6, and I think there's certainly potential for us to do that again in 2022.
Mr. Beischer, if investors want to get more information about Millrock Resources, please share the website address.
Sure. You can easily find it by Googling millrockresources.com, and you'll find contact information for Melanie Henderson, who does our investor relations work, and for potential future investors, I'd be happy to talk to them in person.
Mr. Beischer, always a pleasure to speak with you. Wishing you and Millrock Resources the absolute best, sir.
Thank you very much, Maurice. All the best to you, and we'll talk to you again in the new year.
Looking forward to it, sir.
Bye now.
The information presented on Proven and Probable is provided for educational and informational purposes only, without any express or implied warranty of any kind, including warranties of accuracy, completeness, or fitness for any particular purpose. The information is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, or trading advice, or any other advice. You should not make any financial, investment, or trading decision based on any of the information presented without first undertaking independent due diligence and consultation with a professional broker or competent financial advisor.